40 years ago, President Nixon launched America's war on drugs.
Public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse. In order to fight and defeat this enemy, it is necessary to wage a new all-out offensive.
The results? See for yourself. The blue line represents the U.S. drug addiction rate from the beginning of the war until the present. Notice that there is no real change. On the other hand, the green line represents the amount of money the U.S. is spending to fight this losing battle, from less than $1 billion in 1970 to over $20 billion a year in 2010. But why did the drug war fail? 1. The law does not stop people from choosing to use drugs.
What you're inferring is, you know what? If we legalize heroin tomorrow, everybody's going to use heroin. How many people here would use heroin if it was legal? I bet nobody would put their hand, oh yeah, I need the government to take care of me. I don't want to use heroin, so I need these laws.
2. The criminalization of drugs creates a black market, more lucrative for armed and organized crime groups who can enforce their illegal deals.
It might seem counterintuitive that prohibitions are not the most effective way to reduce the consumption of a good, but economics points out that prohibitions generate black markets, and black markets lead to other adverse effects.
3. As the global report made clear, as long as people want drugs and they are lucrative to supply, a market will always exist. No amount of anti-drug enforcement will change this.
Use of opiates up 34.5%, cocaine use up 27%, and marijuana use up 8.5%. That's according to UN data cited in a new report of the Global Commission on Drug Policy. The commission bluntly says the global war on drugs has been a failure and says it's time for countries to change their policies. Commission member and CEO of Virgin Atlantic, Richard Branson.
Personally, I don't think the United States can afford to keep the drug policy as it is. It's costing them more and more every year to achieve something which you know, where they're just not winning. I mean, they're just not achieving anything.
The commission is made up of heavy hitters: former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, former Secretary of State George Shultz, former Chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve Paul Volcker, and various former Latin American presidents. They urge, quote, to end the criminalization, marginalization, and stigmatization of people who use drugs but do no harm to others. And they recommend governments experiment with models of legalizing drugs to reduce the power and influence of drug cartels.
The statistics, reports, and leaders agree the war on drugs is not working. So why do we keep hemorrhaging money on this failure? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Is our government insane, or is there another reason to keep funding this war?
The people that are winning are basically those in law enforcement that are making big-time government money to fight against the first two groups. And I'm not pointing the finger at law enforcement. They haven't failed us any more for the war on drugs than Elliot Ness failed us with regard to the war on alcohol. But it's the system. But nevertheless, their bureaucracies have expanded, their amounts of money, their power have all expanded as well. They're winning. Fourth group of people are the politicians that basically talk tough with regard to the war on drugs, not smart, but they get elected and re-elected by talking tough. Of course, it's our fault because we continue to elect them, but they come out ahead. Number 5 groups are those in the private sector that make money because of increased crime. Who might that be? Obviously, the people that build prisons, enormously lucrative occupation. People that staff prisons. In the state of California, the Prison Guards Union is the strongest political lobby group we have. They're winning, and of course, they're laughing at us.
So let me be clear. The government is wasting your money. They keep spending money and getting no results. The evidence that the war on drugs has failed is overwhelming. If you're sick of throwing good money after bad, just wait until I tell you how much the government is actually spending when you include all of the money beyond just law enforcement. In our next video, we explore just how much this failed war is costing us in terms of human life and U.S. dollars. In the meantime, our last video explaining Keynesianism versus Austrian economics was a huge hit. For a great new video each week, subscribe to this channel now and come learn more at www.successcouncil.com.